All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today's going to be probably a two-part video. I just pulled the airbag off. Today we're going to be replacing the clock spring in the back here. So I pulled the airbag off. I should have showed you how it's done, but you can see these two holes right here. When this is turned to the side, you can see through it. You put a screwdriver in the back, and then the airbag right here goes in the wheel, right? And these clip into these right here. So you literally just get a screwdriver on the end and bend it back and pull off on each side, and then the airbag pulls out. You have this connector, which to get it off, you pull that white tab back. You can see it pulls that clip up. You slide that back, pulls off the top, and the bottom has one right here. Right there, you just give it a little tug. I think it has a clip on it right there too. Pull that, pulls right out. Set your airbag aside. Just set your airbag aside. Do it with the battery disconnected, which I didn't do, but it's fine. Set it upward so if it goes off, it blows up and doesn't launch the whole thing with it. So then you're at this point, which is where I'm at now. So you want to make sure your wheel's straight as you can get it. Just right about there. Make sure your wheels are straight too, because we're going to be setting the clock spring. And we pull this out, which is an M12 triple square. So I'm going to shut the car off. I was trying to see if I could lock it, but it won't lock. You're going to be using right here M12, and this fits right in. You can also use a Torx 45, I think, T45. That just sets on, and then I'm going to get a socket and break that loose. All right, so I just broke it free with a hand ratchet. It only gets torqued to, I think, 35 or 37 foot-pounds, so you don't got to go crazy with it. Just going to unthread it. These, I believe, are one-time use, but I'm going to be reusing it because I don't really care. Should be fine. Don't do as I do, though. This is just educational purposes, if you even want to call it that, but I'm going to reuse it. That's up to you. So I'll set that aside. And if you take a look here, there's two marks. So you got your alignment mark here and one right there. You want to make sure those line up at the end. I believe they're automatically there. I'm just gonna scrape it a little bit. Just so we remember, there's our alignment marks. So now all you're gonna do, the wheel's already loose. Again, we're trying to keep it straight, but if you have to, you thread the nut in loosely and just pull side to side and rock the wheel, and it just pulls right off, just like that. So that takes care of that. I'm going to be doing more with this. We're going to be changing the paddles out to carbon fiber ones, and we're going to be rewrapping the wheel because the Alcantara is real dirty and I got a better wrap for it. So that's off, and then I'll show you what's next. All right, so this piece literally just kind of fold the leather in. It's just set up here normally, and you kind of just pull it off. It just snaps in. The top cover also just snaps in, so you kind of just pull on each side, and this whole piece comes off. Set that aside, and then we got two T25s, and I believe maybe one on the bottom. I think there's one right there. I'll have to check on that, but now you can see the whole steering column. We're gonna pull these two T25s off real quick. All right, so two T25s. You can also get away with a T20. And up on the bottom here, hopefully you can see that, there's one more screw way up there. This is for my car starter. Just gonna feed this up. Gotta feel around right there. All right, and then put your screws somewhere safe. I put mine up there. The other thing you're gonna wanna do before you get too far into this, oh, yeah, so that's just gonna fall down. I don't wanna rip that. So I'm gonna unplug the starter. All right, so other thing you're gonna wanna do, take note, wish that would focus. There's our part number, 05 or 5K0953.569.AL. You're going to want to make sure you get the right one to replace it with, obviously. And second off, you're going to need to pull your coding to flash on to the new one. That way it knows what module it is, what options you have. I already have a backup of that saved, so that's fine. But you would do that with OBD either 11 or VCDS. I'll show you the programming after. But right now we're into this. Here's the remote start wiring, so I'm going to try to be careful with that. But you have an airbag clip right here. You pull this red tab down with that, and then you push this one in. That just pops off. Takes care of that. You have another big one right here. And you have one here and one here. These ones, you literally just pull back on that gently and they slide off. So I'm going to pull all these off. I'm going to go disconnect the battery. And then pull this bottom one off, because this also goes to the signal ring for the key. So I don't want to mess this all up. Lock out the immobilizer. So I'm going to pull the battery and unhook all these. All right, so this one went right here. That, again, you just pry the tab back, it comes off. Pry it back, comes off. Same thing on all those. 3 screws right there. Now, should just pull straight off, which it does. That's all you're left with. Not a whole lot there. And here's our failed clock spring. So we're gonna go get the new one, and then I will show you installing that. All right, so here is the new one. There's our part number, 5K0953.569.AL. And we got everything back out of the way. There's our steering shaft. That's all good. So literally we're just gonna take it just as it is and set it on. Just like that. Everything lines up where it should. And we're gonna put the 3 screws in, just like we did taking them off. Plug these connectors in, and then I'll show you what's next. All right, so, all right. Airbag connector. This is your, I forget what this one's for, but that's plugged in. Side one's plugged in, snapped, clipped, and clipped. 3 screws are in. Don't go crazy with them. It's just going into plastic. Literally just snug, and then the slightest bit. You just don't want this whole thing to be loose. So we're good there. So next question you're asking, what is this for? So this locks it in the center. So when you get it from the factory, it's wound to the center. So you can just drop it on. If you get a used one, you really should count it, because how this works is it's a thin ribbon, which I'll show you on the other one. Thin ribbon that's wrapped around the spool, basically. And it has a certain amount of turns it can go each way. And if you go past it, you rip it. So that's kind of how they break. If you change the steering wheel and you didn't keep count where it was, you can break it. They just get brittle over time and break. So that's one of the important things to keep track of. This is factory, but I'm going to show you how you would center it up if you're doing it. We know that the steering wheel is centered. There's our mark. Our wheels are straight. So we're going to pull this pin. Feels like we're doing a grenade. But if you take this, you're going to spin it all the way one way very carefully. You're not going to jam it, because it will break. You just go until it pretty much stops moving freely, all the way back the other way, count how many revolutions, and then do half of that to set it for center. So there's 1, there's 2. See, it doesn't move easy after that. So right there, I believe this is centered. So 1 turn, 2 turns and a half, 1 turn, 2 turns and a half. So we'll go back 1, 2. So now we know where center is, and we're going to leave it at that. We're going to put the bottom cover back on, put the top cover back on, and then we'll pick up after I'm done wrapping the steering wheel. There it is. It's all stitched up. Not the greatest, but it's on. These new paddles. All stitched on. Torqued to 37 foot-pounds. All the wires put back in, screws. So now it's literally just reverse. Put the airbag on right here. Clip all the springs in. Put your 2 connectors on. Snap it on. Then we'll go to programming. All right, so it's all cleared out. I should have showed you how to do it. I was getting stressed out, but I got to go, and so I'll walk you through how it's done. The wheel's back on. It's all coated up now. I'll show you what the coating involves. So you're gonna pull up VCDS, I'm gonna open up control modules, and we want steering assist, which is 44. Wait for that to load up. You can see your fault codes. No faults now, but it did have them. You're gonna go security access. The code is 40168. And then you hit enter. Accepted. And then we're gonna go basic setting, right? So group, we're gonna type in 60 as our group we want. Go. And this is your basic setting right here. So this said, it didn't say okay, it said not available or something weird like that. So the basic setting was not set. So this also is your degree of your steering wheel. So right there is perfectly centered according to this, but it said not okay. We literally just hit on off. See, it flashed not okay, but now it says okay. That's all we had to do. Now you can see the light is on the dash for the steering wheel. So we're gonna hit done, go back. If we do fault codes, steering limit not set, no stop. Hit done, go back. We go to measuring block. I forget which one it is. I think it's 19. It's not 19. We can just scroll through this here. Stops learn, steering angle sensor. Okay. Well, either way, it's not set. So the light's on. I'm going to set the computer to the side right here. This is literally all you do. So I'm going to take the wheel. I'm going to spin it all the way to the left and hold it. It should beep. Hold it for 10 seconds. Or probably until the 3 beeps are done. Then we're going to go all the way the other way. Back to center. See, the light just went out, and now the steering's nice and easy. Full lock, back to center. See our steering angle. You can see as I turn it, well, that's back to 0 now because it's zeroed out. Done, go back. Fault codes. No fault codes. That cleared it all out. Light's gone, and that's it for the adaptation. So originally I was trying to go to steering wheel to do the adaptation, but it's not. It's under steering assist. There's our basic memory, which we just reset. So that can be cleared out now. And then close our controller out. And we got power steering back. And it's all good. So that's it for coding. The other thing I was going to show you, you go into steering wheel and you go into coding. So here's my coding. This is going to be different depending on your car. So it either has an 05 or a 5KO 9 53569AL, which is my part number. Or there's another part number, but that's what we have. This is my coating. I saved this before I changed the sensor. You need to go in and get your coating before you do it. It's all the options, your steering wheel controls, your paddles, whatever you have. It has to be saved. If you put in the wrong one, it's going to tweak everything out. You can go through with the long coating helper, which this breaks it down. So there's our 199. This is in a different language, so let me see. You might be able to change it actually. English. Nope, still in a different language. But you can click on each byte and it tells you what each thing is. So you can go through and manually set it this way, but it's easiest if you just save your coding so you don't have to try and decipher all this. But I knew what my coding was. I typed it in, I hit do it, it accepted my coding, cleared out all my codes, and now everything's back to normal. You can just close out VCDS. So that's it on how to do the clock spring on this, steering angle sensor. Well, it's a clock spring, but that's gonna do it for this video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know if it was helpful. Let me know what I can do better. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.